Hot mic. Test, test.
No, son, I should have 2 channels of audio in the back. I can just feed you one if you want. Yeah. No, everybody's ready when you got first channel. All right. Thanks, sir.
Good morning. Public safety is the overarching priority of good government. And when I became county executive in 2019, I made it clear that public safety, along with public health and economic development, would be my top priorities. And that's why I supported an independent review of the St. Louis County Police Department. And out of that review came the Teneo Report, a comprehensive look about how we provide policing services in St. Louis County. Because of that review, we've had deeper conversations about the future of policing. We have greater cooperation between county police and other law enforcement agencies, including the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. For example, county and city police have been cooperating on crime-fighting activities on the city and county border. We've had department leaders committed to engaging in the community and responding to the community concerns. And as a result of all of these efforts, we've seen a reduction in crimes in St. Louis County. But we know we can do better. And we know that public safety is more than just policing. It also includes our courts, our prosecutors, and all of our residents working together to build a community that works. In September of 2019, within 6 months of taking office, I announced plans to reconvene the Crime Commission, a commission that had not met in 40 years. To tackle all the challenges, it's important to bring the key players in the criminal justice system together in a more formal way. And this 1976 ordinance outlines that commission. It consists of the county executive, the county council chair, the police chief, prosecuting attorney, the presiding judge, the director of the Criminal Justice Center, 2 citizens, and an appointment of a municipal elected official. This commission is formally known as the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. After reconvening this long dormant commission, we began holding monthly meetings. We had just come out of a violent summer, including some heartbreaking cases with kids and guns. And I remember going to a scene in Jennings where 3-year-old Rodney March had fatally shot himself, and asking myself, why is this happening? And we know that there are too many guns on the street, and the efforts to put responsible gun control measures in place continue to be blocked by the NRA and their supporters in Washington. But we can have our own efforts here at the local level. We can hold we can hold gun owners who are not responsible accountable, and we can make sure that we're doing everything possible to make sure people aren't obtaining guns illegally. We don't have to wait for others to do the right thing. Because of the pandemic, we paused holding the Crime Commission meetings, but we did not pause our public safety priorities. Talks between departments continued, an independent review of the police department went forward, and an outside review of the Criminal Justice Center was completed. Construction is underway for 2 new police precincts, and we have committed another $47 million in federal funds to crime prevention, cyber terrorism, police training, and evidence handling. And now, with more of us comfortable meeting in public, now that the pandemic is almost behind us and posing less of a threat, I'm pleased to announce that the Crime Commission will again hold meetings, and our next meeting will be February 23rd at 10 a.m. And the primary duty of the Commission, as stated by county ordinance, is to work with criminal justice agencies and residents to develop a comprehensive countywide plan to improve law enforcement and criminal justice in St. Louis County. That includes developing programs and projects that enhance public safety and criminal justice, and working to find appropriate funding as needed. Fortunately, we have a solid foundation to build on. The Teneo Report has been an invaluable guide for our police department. Our Justice Center is working through recommendations detailed in a report by CGL that gave the jail high marks for its operations and reform efforts. With this, Crime Commission will be able to amplify the priorities of St. Louis County, and those include reducing crime and enhancing our criminal justice system and making sure we have something in place that treats everyone fairly. And we'll continue increasing our job training and educational opportunities for those at the jail, so when they leave, when our detainees leave, they'll have the tools they need to be successful. And I look at the Commission as an opportunity to work as one to address the county's top issue, the one that we've invested the most in, and that's public safety. Thank you, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
How can this commission impact crime? These are people, leaders meet in a room, obviously crime's happening in different places. What do you see as the way they can really impact crime? Is it policy? Is it reaching out to public groups? What's the impact there, and how do you think they can do the most good?
I think at an individual level, all of our components of the criminal justice system are working well. Our police department is doing a good job. Prosecuting attorney is doing a good job. We're happy with the progress we're making in the jail, and we need to make sure that all of these different components understand completely what each other are doing, that they can interact together productively, and we can look for ways to coordinate our efforts. Some of that is already going on. This is an opportunity to optimize that and make sure that another very important component of the criminal justice system, and that's our residents, are engaged in this process as well.
You mentioned that the pandemic halted in-person meetings, but we also saw many functions of government, including the county council, shift to virtual. Was that something that was ever considered to keep the work going over the 2.5, 3 years that the pandemic has been impacting in-person meetings?
Well, we knew that the individual components of reform were taking place. The police department was working through the Teneo Report. That was a 2-year process, a year to do the review and a year to begin implementing the changes. There's continuous improvement going on in the jail, and the prosecuting attorney has been very busy over the past 4 years with his reforms. So at the individual level, those were moving forward, and they were communicating as well as they could in that setting. But this is an opportunity now that we're back. We're putting the pandemic behind us. We're starting more in-person meetings. And this is an opportunity to get together formally, to meet in person, and to get everyone communicating again.
But if it was a priority to have this communication in this council, why wait until you can go back in person to have these meetings when, like I said, government shifted virtually because the business needed to be done?
Well, so the question is, why did we continue these meetings? I think where government will always be subject to criticism. This isn't soon enough, or this isn't enough, and we'll listen to that. But we're moving forward. We're going to meet in person. We believe that during the pandemic, a lot of things in the community were not optimized. In-person meetings weren't optimized, and some of our priorities shifted. We were in an emergency setting. But we continue to do a lot of good work in reform in the criminal justice world. Our police department was making a lot of progress. Our jail was making a lot of progress. And the prosecuting attorney was making a lot of progress. So those issues weren't left unattended. The coordination of those was difficult in the middle of an emergency.
Can you talk about, we've seen a spike in juvenile crimes across the St. Louis area, and will this commission play a part in that?
Well, we hope that we know that some of those conversations are already ongoing, and I think certainly this is an opportunity to talk about juvenile crimes and how we're managing them for sure, and that'll be one of the things that we'll want to address.
But do you think that the public has a right to know about these juvenile suspects in terms of when they're released to their parents, when their court dates are going to be, what the status of their cases are? You've seen these cases, whether it be the Foundry situation or just cases recently where the public is in there an outcry saying, we want to know what's going on with these suspects, and the information is very limited. Should this be different, and what is your position on that?
Well, so the question about these juvenile crimes and access to information, it's a complicated question. Just last year, the state changed the law in how juveniles are managed, raising the age of the definition of a juvenile, to 17. And that's created some policy gaps that we have to work through, and our criminal justice system has to work through, and we're going to be talking about that. This is a very difficult case. The older kids get involved in more complex crimes, and the juvenile justice system is having to manage those. And that's one of the things we have to talk about. Are we doing everything we can? And that's a good opportunity for our courts, our prosecuting attorney, our police department, and our citizens to get together and to talk about this.
But does the public have a right to know more about the juvenile suspects?
Well, the policy and the law around juvenile suspects is very complicated, and I'm not prepared to discuss that in detail today. I think that you have to balance juveniles and their crimes, and I think the courts look at that as a case-by-case basis, and they have the opportunity to look at each case and say, what's happening in this case, and when should this juvenile be treated as an adult? And that's really where the policy question lies.
Do you expect the membership of this commission to be the same as it was in 2019, or do you plan to bring forward a new municipal member and new citizen members? I know the others are fairly well set.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that, and we'll talk to the members. I know that some of them will want to stay, and I know that there's some more people that want to serve. So like all of our boards and commissions, we'll keep that in mind, and we'll consider new people who want to participate.
What do you think the biggest impact of this commission can be?
Well, I think anytime you have a complex policy question, and crime and public safety is that, then it's important to get together all the stakeholders and make sure that they're communicating well and all the complicated issues are out on the table. And that's what we need to do. That's where we started in 2019 before other emergency situations kind of slowed us down a little bit. So we're coming right back at it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Thanks.